Hey, we're back.
Whoa, we are back.
Man.
Hey, welcome again to another weird thing that some nobodies do. My name is Zach, and this is Dylan on this side. Wow, it's been like 2 years. 2 years of this. Can't figure it out.
We've been doing this for 6 years, and you still don't know left from right.
It's been like 19 years, and I still don't know what side you sit on. Anyway, if you don't know who we are some weirdos that make some stuff like Silicon Angels. We also do a podcast show. We have some info down there. If you want to see everything that we do, you can always go to somenobodies.com and check it out. But hey, I am alive. Yeah. But mostly we have a show on Sundays called Twitching UpStream. And what we do there is we talk to some people that have created things that we're trying to create. Either very cool podcasts, movies, TV shows, anything really. And then we kind of pitch something to them that we've created. What we wanted to do was we want to take those ideas and continue to work on those things so that we don't just put those on the back burner. I actually reached to the back of the stove. I don't know if you saw that. That was not for podcast listeners. Anyway, yeah, so we designed this show, which is Twitching UpStream. Like I said, we just wanted to kind of take an idea and then really work on it and show Dylan's writing skills and actually what we do a lot of the time, which is really just talking and giving each other ideas to kind of fill in the stuff. But anyway, so that's what we're going to do here. Dylan's been holding down the fort for a couple weeks for me while I took care of a bunch of family stuff. So I'm going to need his help kind of catching me up. But, as I always do, I got some things that I want to throw at Dylan and, nerd news, media stuff, just to see his reaction or to get his input because he's my only friend and whatever. So first and foremost, I'm not sure if you've heard about this, but there's like a recent rumor that James Gunn has been talking to both DC and Marvel about doing a crossover movie or series of movies. Now, first, is that possible? Is it possible, knowing how Marvel works, knowing how DC works, excluding Disney, even that, story-wise, is there any way to merge these two universes without doing the multiverse BS?
I mean, I don't know how else you do it. Like, pulling from the multiverse seems to be the only way they ever accomplish that sort of crossover, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess the only way that it can be is if you do a multiverse.
Yeah.
I just read this. I'll give you a call in about 3 weeks. Once a couple of checks clear. Yeah, I'm most likely in. But anyway, yeah. So I don't know. When you look at DC movies and you see how gritty they are, and you look at Marvel movies and how kind of quippy and cute they are. I just don't see those two things working. And also, is there anybody that can beat Batman on the Marvel side?
I mean, it's going to be the same crossover thing you always get, where they start fighting each other and then some big threat happens and then they team up, right? Am I wrong? Have they ever done a crossover where that doesn't happen?
They I guess that's what it is. It's either there's a joined big bad, or they try to figure out why this is happening to them, and then they stop that, which is usually a big bad or something else. But yeah, you're right.
I mean,
I hope it does not happen.
Who could beat Batman? Who could beat Batman? I mean, it depends on who's writing Batman.
I mean, honestly, if Batman knows who's in the fight, you can't beat Batman. That's it. Like that. If that guy's got time to prep, he's gonna beat you hands down. Like that's it. He's a
kind
friggin'
of his thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Hey, Detective Ninja, you can't beat that. All right, so speaking of like DC stuff, Batgirl is most likely going to be cast soon. There was a project that Joss Whedon started, which clearly got dismantled quick. But with the Deadpool,
I mean, I guess if only because eventually Batman might run out of things to do to him.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess just out of you can annoy Batman to death. I'm pretty sure that can happen. So
he just stops. He just quits.
Yeah, for that reason alone, it's like, all right, fine, Deadpool wins. But yeah, so Batgirl. What do you think? Is there a fan casting in your mind for who could play a good Batgirl? And please do not say Emma Stone.
Not Emma Stone.
Good. Well, that's the correct answer.
My brain is going to Alison Brie for some reason, and I don't know why.
I mean, she's a great actor. She was up for She-Hulk not too long ago.
Right.
She didn't win She-Hulk, but you see her chops as far as like glow and everything. Like she's a physical actor, so I could see it.
I feel like I always dreamcast Alison Brie for these questions though, and I'm not sure why. Like I like Community, but I haven't seen her in anything else that I haven't seen Glow, so I haven't seen her in anything else that makes me go, yeah, she's a really physical action actor.
Yeah, that's true. Wait, did you watch BoJack? Because she's...
Oh, she voices... yeah, no, she's in BoJack. I forgot.
Classic Vietnamese character in BoJack.
Yeah.
All right, so we also have the Suicide Squad trailer. Another Suicide Squad trailer just came out. And it's cool because they make kind of a joke of Superman a little bit. They make a reference. If you haven't seen it, I can't spoil a trailer, whatever. It's a trailer. Go watch it. But they do talk about how Idris Elba's character has shot Superman with a kryptonite bullet successfully. So that's pretty interesting. I am so excited to watch this movie. I think it's probably the best thing that DC can do. Ron says, what wouldn't Disney give to get their writing hands on DC? I feel like Mickey would be willing to give up whole parts of the United States to make that happen. That is true. I mean, if you think about...
That's my concern, is that Disney winds up with the entire superhero market under their belt, except for like Amazon, which is its own thing.
Yeah, because, I mean, honestly, like you have... I don't think that Marvel maybe Spider-Man, but I don't think Marvel has a character that is bigger than Superman and or Batman. I mean, Spider-Man.
If Spider-Man hadn't been mismanaged due to the rights issues between them and Sony, I would say yes. But in American culture, I think Superman and Batman are kind of the big two superheroes, and then Spider-Man, I think, is a real strong third.
Yeah, I mean, Spider-Man might be the number one superhero worldwide as far as comics go. Not now that the MCU's out, obviously that kind of has altered because now people are like, I love Iron Man. Dude, Iron Man sucks, always has. He's just a Batman ripoff.
I remember reading comics with Iron Man before the MCU, and Iron Man was always portrayed as like nobody's friend. Nobody really liked him, but they're like, damn it, we need Tony around because he's got resources or something.
Yeah, and then they made him kind of interesting when he had like a drinking problem, which is a terrible thing that I just said, but it was the most interesting thing that they had until the movies came out. Then everyone's like, I love Captain. No one liked Captain America. I guess Captain America was kind of cool.
Yeah, Captain America was kind of cool.
Red Flanagan says, interesting to think that if such a thing exists / could exist as a monopoly on IP, I mean, Marvel and DC are basically the AT&T and Verizon of comics. Yep. That's true. I mean, Image Comic tries. They don't really do anything. Jason Taylor, how are you, sir?
Everything Image has put out, I've kind of enjoyed. They do Invincible, don't they? Like,
yeah.
I like Image Comics a lot, and I don't think a lot of that is just being contrarian against the big two.
Yeah. Well, so, okay. Now, Ron says Iron Man isn't even a real superhero. He's a smug, rich, smart guy with issues, which is almost Batman.
It is Batman.
But I'm going to say Batman is a superhero. I'm going to say Tony Stark is not a superhero for some reason.
Well, I mean, he had extremists for a while, which gave him pretty much out-and-out superpowers. Like,
yeah. That's true, but I still look. I'm a Batman dude through and through.
Who owns Dark Horse Comics? Is that DC?
DC's Dark Horse, yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say because I like, isn't that that's Hellboy, isn't it?
Hellboy is Dark Horse. Yep.
Yeah.
Now
Spawn is the Boost Mobile of comics. You have to keep buying action figures to keep the image alive. Yeah, man, I remember getting like Electronic Gamer Monthly back in the early 2000s, and it was like every other page was an advertisement for a new Spawn action figure.
Yeah. Wait, Batman is part Bat. No,
I think you're thinking of Man Bat.
That is Man Bat, correct?
Easy mistake to make.
Yeah, they do wear slightly different clothes, but yeah, very classic. Now on other nerd news, though, I don't know if you saw this, that they're trying to do a remake of Evil Dead or another one. It's called Evil Dead Rise.
I saw that they're bringing it into the city.
They are, and it does not. Batman is part billionaire.
I'm pretty sure he's entirely billionaire, but yeah,
at least 1%.
At least 1% billionaire.
But yeah, so it is not. Sam Raimi is not directing it or writing it. Bruce Campbell's not in it. They do have producer credits, but I'm just assuming that's like one of those cool Hollywood formality things. But can this work without the cheese and ham of Raimi and that chin of Campbell? Can you pull that off?
I didn't see the remake of Evil Dead from like 2011 or something, whatever that remake they did. I didn't see that, but from what I've heard, it's not bad. It's just takes itself more seriously.
Well, Raimi was a part of that, right?
Right.
Or no?
I think he was. He was a producer, but producers... You call someone up on the phone and they talk to you for 5 minutes about something, you can give them a producer credit.
Yeah, but that's true.
It feels like they're just using the name.
Yeah, it's weird, which I guess is just like what zombie stuff. Like what is Evil Dead if it's not Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell? It's just I guess it's Curse. Yeah, Curse and Deadites.
Deadites are just without the name, it's just demons again. Yeah, I know Red Flanagan's a huge fan of Evil Dead 1.
He says, Evil Dead 1 is my favorite film of all time. I'm totally up for a new Evil Dead. Ash versus Evil Dead was amazing, and Evil Dead 2013 reboot was very solid for following the conventions of modern horror. Yeah, I agree with both those things 100%. I'll definitely watch it. My thing is being exclusive. McManhattan, how are you, sir? Being exclusively not Sam Raimi and exclusively not Bruce Campbell. That's just, it's going to be a tough one. Ron Limpet says, who'd win in a city war, Gotham City or Metropolis? I think Gotham would absolutely crush those. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going with Gotham. It's like asking who would win in a fight between New York and Chicago. It's not 1970. I know they're both New York, but
yeah, it's not that. It's almost like saying who'd win in a fight: cocaine and white collar versus crystal meth and everything else. Gotham is always the worst of the worst.
It's like modern day New York versus 1980s New York. 1980s New York wins hands down.
Yeah, like what happens in Metropolis? You have somebody might do armed robbery of a bank, possibly. You might have actually, I don't even know what happens in Metropolis. Like nothing happens in Metropolis. Jay Star says, "I love Evil Dead franchise. Can't wait. New game coming 2 for Xbox One." Bruce Campbell. Oh.
How do you make a video game out of Evil Dead?
It's mostly Deadites, I would assume.
I guess.
Gotham the show. Well, that's the worst. No, Gotham the show. No, okay, so that's true. Was there a Metropolis show? I don't think so, right? Because it was
not Smallville.
There was Krypton, yeah, and there's Smallville. So no, but if there was a Metropolis show, that show could be Gotham the show because Gotham the show kind of reeks like some dupe. Red Flanagan says, since Evil Dead 2013 starred no one from the original aside from the Oldsmobile Delta, but was still pretty awesome. I trust them with a new lineup. It's still produced by the Raimis and Campbell. Yeah, I'm going to agree. I have nothing bad to say about it. I am an Evil Dead fan. I love Evil Dead. I just feel that a lot of that, outside of the newer, reboot, but I think a lot of that was Raimi's shtick. But I guess if they keep that, then that's cool because I don't really care.
Sure.
Yeah. And yeah, Jason, Gotham is horrible. Ugh, LOL. I agree. And lastly, I don't know. Are you watching Bad Batch, Dylan?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, All right. Well, for those who are, they just hit episode 8, which is the mid-season, not break, but like the mid-season point. So there's 16 episodes. They just hit episode 8. I'm in love with Bad Batch. I am in love with everything Star Wars, but it is about Omega, which is the last of the clones that were built on Kaminoa. Camino? Oh yeah,
I think it's Camino.
I think I'm thinking of a car. So, and her name is Omega, for those who don't know, and she hangs out with the Bad Batch. And for those who watch the Clone Wars, the Bad Batches, they showed up in there, and they're a reject batch of clones that, you know, don't look the same, et cetera, et cetera. So this show kind of follows them after Order 99, so they can take their things out, so they don't get the inhibitor chip.
66?
Order, what did I say, 99?
Yeah, you got it upside down.
Why? What was I must have been looking at something that said 99. Anyway, yeah, so Order 66. Because it's batch 99. That's what I was thinking of. They're batch 99, Order 66.
I really fell off the Star Wars bandwagon.
just like George Lucas says, it's poetry. It's got to rhyme. But
circles
yeah,
within circles.
But you know, if there is a theory that Omega is a Force-sensitive clone, a clone of Palpatine, a clone of Ewan McGregor. There's a lot of things that they're kind of throwing out there, but to me, she hasn't shown up in any of the movies, which doesn't bode well, right? Wait, no. Jason Taylor says, Red, do you mean River?
Or Red ass.
Oh, sorry.
DC versus Riverdale. I haven't seen Riverdale either.
Well, Riverdale is insane.
I've heard that it goes off the rails really quick and really hard.
It is just insane. So I'm gonna take DC. Do you mean River? I wish I was Twin Peaks, Dale.
Because Riverdale is trying.
They try to be Twin Peaks. Yeah, that's true.
Okay. I see.
Yeah, I get it now.
The comics for Riverdale the Archie and Betty comics did have Predator versus Archie and Punisher versus Archie. Yeah. So they do get pretty out there.
That's weird. The only reason I was hesitating reading that comment was because I live close to the Twin Peaks, actual Twin Peaks. So when I read Twin Peaks, I'm like, wait, what is that? At Jason Taylor, sure. I'm not a fan at all. Do love Twin Peaks, though. Satan is Real and Sabrina, which is linked to Riverdale, though, which would be a fun matchup versus Superman, which is odd because Lucifer is in the DC universe, and and so's Riverdale. So if Riverdale and Lucifer... So there's Lucifer and Satan exist in the same...
So Sabrina the Witch is talking to Lucifer from the TV show? Like, we got a whole mess of, like, cinematic universe brewing here. Superman versus Satan would be a really interesting thing.
Superman versus because like what is Satan like a mythological creature, right? Well, I guess Superman
I'd say so.
What would you say Satan's big weaknesses are? What's Satan's kryptonite?
Depending on what you watch, prayer.
Oof, and you know Superman's not Superman obviously does not believe in God, so he I'm gonna ponder that one for a while. Smallville versus Riverdale. I am gonna say Smallville because
I think Smallville due to Clark Kent.
Well, Clark Kent, also Doomsday, Aquaman. You got a bunch of people. Riverdale has somebody with a very bad, weird hat. And no plot lines really. God is Satan's kryptonite. Yeah, but Superman does not believe in God.
Jason, are you a youth pastor? Because that sounds like something one of my youth pastors would have said.
Yeah, that's true. We should probably get out of this.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you're into Star Wars, watch The Bad Batch. I'm excited how that's going. Dylan, I think you would like it, but you are swamped with content right now. Anyway, okay, so what we do in this show, we take a project that we worked on before, most likely on Talking Upstream, and then for about 4 to 5 episodes, kind of break it down, go into scene breakdowns, some dialogue, character development, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to let Dylan kind of catch everybody up on where we are and what we're trying to accomplish with the rest of today's episode.
Yeah. So what we've been doing for the last few weeks is we've been focusing on a project we developed a while ago on Twitching UpStream called Red Wichita. This is a superhero series. It's a podcast where it is presented in the style of such podcasts as Serial and other kind of like This American Life, like what really happened stories. And the basic idea is that in this world, superheroes exist. And a supervillain, in order to establish his own kind of like rogue state that he can operate out of without any sort of like, government interference, because he would be the government, takes over the city and the surrounding area of Wichita, Kansas. Now, we have spent a little bit of time figuring out the backstory. Oh, hello, Joel Marshall.
Hello.
Oh, yeah, and we've spent a little bit of time figuring out what's going to happen here. So we did some character development. We did some just kind of backstory things. Yeah, This American Life wishes they were as good as our stuff.
That's true.
Fight me, Ira Glass. You break like glass. That's what would happen. But
yeah.
There's a red. What you talking about? Yeah, sure.
Don't get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted. But we kind of figured out this brief storyline about what actually happened in the event, and the podcast is going to be a bunch of interviews and segments going over what happened there in universe. We came up with a bunch of kind of like B-tier characters such as Heavy Step, Doc Quantum, Moon Shadow, that sort of thing. We figured out who the main character is, what Red Emperor, the bad guy, does, and why Superion, the good guy, it has taken so long to respawn, and that turns out that they both had the same corporate sponsor. And us, we like to kind of cover that. That's a topic we've dipped into a few times because it's relatable to current day stuff. So, oh right, I forgot that we modeled Red Emperor after Tucker Carlson. Anyway, so we got into the backstory of the two main characters, and we were kind of just going in sequence and building out what we need to build out. What we don't have yet that I think we should figure out is the backstory and building of the main character. Her name is Daphne Driver. She's a reporter for the Wichita Eagle. She lost someone in the attack. And that's all we had really figured out.
Yeah. Okay. So we need her to have motivation to have this show, right? Now,
Yeah.
is she Tucker Carlson is a character, I agree. But yeah, having the main bad guy as Tucker Carlson, I think, is really funny. So does she do other podcasting, or is she specifically like tragic due to this event?
We had her as a reporter, but I think we had kind of determined that this project is her acting independently. So maybe she doesn't do podcasting, but she has done interviews and stuff like that, so she knows what she's doing. Yeah,
I like her being a reporter. I like her asking a lot of questions, and then when she gets stuck, that's when she decides to make this show. So what if, say, one of her relatives was a superhero that she knew about, and that's why it was kind of like shocking, because like some superheroes have that friend or that confidant that's also a news reporter. Not the Lois Lane, but like the Jimmy Olsen, whatever.
Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah. So what if they have that kind of relationship, so that they know maybe more about what's happening, so that way when they do ask specific questions, they aren't really given the correct answer that she knows. What do you think about that?
I like it.
Right,
maybe
cool.
like a low level hero who attempted to save the city and got beat real handily by Red Emperor.
Yeah, like a neighborhood superhero.
Yeah,
not a global hero. And for some reason, maybe she has messages from this person, like like, hey, I have these voicemails, like, I just want to check on this, or something that really, I like her having more information than what authorities are giving her, which would push her to investigate more. I guess.
Do we want
P.S. If anyone's watching, if this is the first time you are watching and this is live, please throw some comments in there. If you have any suggestions for any of the things we're talking about, most likely your ideas are better than ours. So hit them with us. Just plop them right into whatever thing you're watching. But go ahead.
Do we want her friend to be one of these characters that we had previously developed, or do we want to just have it be kind of like an offhanded character we haven't met yet?
I mean, we did create a bunch of characters, and not all were fleshed out. So one of them could be specifically Wichita based.
Sure. Because most of these characters have interview segments in there, and we can pretty easily turn that into one of them just having all their information put in interludes that are the guy's phone messages or something.
Yeah, maybe not one of them though.
Okay,
because they all seem pretty good, like power wise. So, Red Flanagan says Daphne was in a podcast network with a duo called Some Nobodies, who do something very meta related to fantasy. She set up a meeting with them, and they were wiped out in the attack. Survivor's guilt. Yep. Perfect. Sure.
There is some survivor's guilt in there, I think, because
I like that
person she's close to did die, but she didn't.
Yeah. Wait, do we like some somebodies or some gnome bodies?
Some gnome bodies.
Right. That seems like it flows better.
It's a podcast group that's just a collection of hive mind gnomes.
Yeah, they just sit outside in the garden and just talk about it.
3 gnomes in a trench coat.
Those are the lucky ones that get to the movies.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so I do like I like Survivor's Guild. I think that's cool. And maybe let's kind of flip what Red just said, and maybe there is a mini superhero podcasting group in Wichita that all got wiped out.
I like that.
Or maybe one of the group survived or something, or they all got wiped out. I think that's I think that's really cool. Maybe
Daphne was like their contact,
yeah.
And Daphne was the one person they're like, "Hey, you work for the Wichita Eagle. Like, can you be our inside person?" And she goes, I like what you guys are doing, sure, but I can't do superhero things. And so now they're all wiped out, and she's like, I have to make sure people know who they were.
Yeah, nice. And then if you think about it, like her figuring out this whole story makes her the ultimate hero without being super, which is, I guess, a great lesson for somebody.
It's a good lesson for superhero stuff in general, because it's really hard. It's really weird when a superhero story's like moral is like, remember, only Superman can save the world. And you're like, like, remember that time Reed Richards cured cancer? Only superheroes can cure cancer. And you're like, man, that's not a good lesson to walk away with. You know what I mean?
There's nothing I'm going to be able to do against a space portal.
Right.
But if somebody listens to Silicon Angels, they'll uncover a serious mystery.
You sure can. You should go listen to Silicon Angels, available on every podcasting platform.
Yeah, including Pandora. Okay, so finally. What do we need here? What are we working on?
Let's figure out who these. It doesn't have to be much, but we should come up with like 3 names and what their powers are for who these superhero podcasters are.
Yeah, let's. I don't know
if
they
need to have like a really in-depth backstory for them. Just
yeah,
who they were, what they could do.
I'm thinking they might not even have powers. Okay. Maybe they are like, they have superhero names and they are maybe just mortals that are trying to do good. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I like it.
Yeah. Maybe they are, if anybody out there has any suggestions for some, I honestly have no idea why I'm thinking about this, but I have Legend of the Hidden Temple stuck in my head. So I'm like, they're just silver iguanas or whatever, you know, or
the podcasting group is just a bunch of like humanoid reptilians, and it's like nobody comments on it. There's just a little clutch. There's just a little clutch of reptilians in Wichita that do podcasting.
Oh, okay. I'm cool with that.
I don't know.
They came from this. Mama. All right.
I guess
honestly,
I could be her mom. I don't know.
If we get to if you want to talk about a real superhero, folks, moms. Anyway, so I like maybe there's a group of like reptilians that came from the center of the earth that have a podcast. They don't have any powers, but they also just do heroic stuff.
So okay, it's like the Ninja Turtles, but instead of being ninja crime fighters, they're podcasting lizards, and Daphne is their April O'Neil.
That is beyond perfect. Don't laugh at Mad Mana.
Mad Mana is my Magic the Gathering themed rap name.
That is true. It's like a 5-color fist to the face.
Oh, Wooberg. All right. Oh man, 3 people who aren't even watching this podcast are going to get that. Anyway, so these characters died. Well, I mean, okay, what are we gonna call them? We're gonna call them Hiss.
Yeah, heroes in. Right, Hiss.
Heroes.
Wait, do lizards hiss, right?
Yes, I was thinking that was one of their names individually.
Oh, we're going just names. Yeah, so we have Hiss. We have Venom. Is that one? No,
sure.
That's too popular of a name though. How about Fork?
Sure.
We have Two Claw. We'll get to why later.
Sure. We don't have to explain it.
And
Steve. I think one of them should be just like a normal name.
Alan.
Paul. Alan the Lizard Podcaster. I like it.
Alan Scale.
Alan Scales.
Yeah.
Man.
He also does the theme music, so it works.
So this is good. This is good. So not one of her relatives, but she was the April O'Neil character for a group of reptilian podcasters in Wichita who died in the attack, and she wants them to be recognized and the cause of their deaths to be exposed.
So they're like millennial humanoid lizard podcasting, right?
Millennial humanoid lizard, MHLP.
I mean, that'd be a really good radio station.
You're listening to MHLP.
Whatever.
My name is Alan Scales.
Alan, and I'll be bringing you the weather. Okay, so we have these podcasters that are also lizards.
Yeah, why not? It's a superhero setting.
Until the end. Okay, so they all get wiped out, right?
Yeah, they're dead.
And all that she has is their audio files.
Yeah.
Or just their map with red string all over it.
She has their audio files and conspiracy corkboard.
Do we really want to do another found footage thing, or does that matter? Like, it's not really so much found footage, right?
I don't think we do the entire thing as their audio files, but I think every episode we have a little interlude where it's like, I have, my name is Daphne, this is Daphne Driver again. I'm going to play you a recording from the MHLP podcasting network. This, this excerpt is from their episode, Crime in the Air or something like that. I don't know, because they smell by tasting the air.
Crime in the air?
When they do their tongue thing.
I understand tasting smells. I'm just wondering why, like, would it taste crime? They can smell just crime.
Sure, it works.
Wait, what's their podcast about?
I figured their podcast would just be about superhero goings-ons in like Kansas. There's not much, but
and this one episode is about crime.
Not specific.
Episode 1. Crime. In the air.
Crime
Episode
in the air.
2. More crime.
The taste of crime in the air.
All right. So anyway, so
Anyway.
they're doing low level crime or / conspiracy theories around Wichita, looking for lost motorcycles, a convenience store robbings of potato chips, etc. Just little stuff.
They might have had the preliminary like story developing about the linkage between Superion and Red Emperor, but I don't think that's ultimately going to be why they're dead.
Yeah, I think that I agree. I think that they accidentally uncover something about the conversation between Tucker Carlson and Superion. What was his name? Still Red Wichita? It's
Red Emperor.
Red Emperor, right? So I think that incidentally or even accidentally, we have the lizard podcasters overhearing something detrimental. Maybe
there's this audio file is what tips Daphne off in the first place to be like, this wasn't just an attack on Wichita. This was, something's fishy here.
Yeah, and maybe it's like kind of a boring conversation where like Red Emperor's having like dealings with like the police, like trying to buy them off. But what they didn't hear, but what Daphne does hear charging up. Yeah. And she's like, what is that sound? And it's like, clack, 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 enhance, clack, 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 enhance. It's like, I swear that sounds like, something that links to Superion. And then that's why maybe she's trying to talk to him. But it's like, but why were you in this room? Yeah. And maybe that's like the big push of it. That way they didn't really, and they died trying to save the world.
Yeah, they died trying to save someone.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, what's next?
I just really like this little clutch of lizard podcasters. That's
yeah. So they escaped from the center of the earth mostly to podcast because they've just been listening to podcasts for a while. That is one of the few things they can get down there is podcasts, and
they're like, yes, we want a podcast for the human world. And Daphne's like, all right,
we are not agile, nor do we have any powers, but we are talkative and witty.
Yes.
Hiss.
What's more iconic than 3 lizards with a podcast?
4.
4 lizards. Yeah, no. You have the 4th ranger.
Don't forget about Two Claw. Even though he's just a producer, he's very important.
They have him on for the special edition episodes.
Right. All right. What's next?
I think that's pretty good for character stuff. What? Something opened that. There we go. Jeez.
Oh,
I got a window.
Don't show that.
Yeah, I know. That's a different tab. That's for the next show.
Don't show that.
So we had an idea for Nemesis showing up. Do we want to get into that very much, or do we not particularly? Is Nemesis just kind of like, yeah, I didn't help. I just didn't feel like I was, I didn't.
Did not seem like something I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Nemesis's backstory.
Because, he doesn't have a problem with Red Emperor so much. Red Emperor's paid him for a couple jobs. And it's like, look, I was just going to let him do his thing. I don't really care.
Yeah. So that was episode 1, part of. We get what the podcast is about, who Red Emperor and who Superion is. We hint at Daphne's dislike of Superion. We'll probably cover, like...
Was Nemesis also in that room / audio file? Like, why are they talking? Why is she talking to Nemesis? I forgot why we...
I think the initial plan was just because he was there in the city.
Okay, he just knows something.
Yeah.
So he was there at the very beginning of the attack, and he left, which gives us the intro to what the big story is.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I like that.
Cool. And then attempting to contact Superion. So Superion is we're kind of styling him a little bit similarly to Homelander from The Boys, at least as much as like a superhero with a corporate backing. You know what I mean? Like, we're not doing specifically like that he is a corporate agent. he is secretly, but we don't know that.
Right.
But he definitely has like a cadre of people around him to create his persona.
Yeah, like almost like Greg Kinnear from Mystery Men, if anyone has seen that. Whatever. But yeah, he takes sponsors.
So what kind of hoops would Daphne go through to try and contact Superior? Like obviously she tries to contact his publicist and he's not interested.
Publicist, manager, she could even show up to, maybe she knows who his alter ego is and shows up to his alter ego's house.
I had kind of an idea. I had kind of the image that Superion doesn't have an alter ego. He is Superion full time.
Okay.
Maybe he has like events, like book signings, maybe.
Where does Superion live? Where does he hang his cape? Does he have like a fortress of louditude? Fortress of
publicity, maybe. It's what he calls his skyscraper he has in like the Chicago area.
Yeah, so maybe so what if like Superion has a lot of publicists depending on what they're trying to do? So it's like, no, I'm not the one who deals with podcasts. You got to talk to Jonesburg, and it's like I'm pretty sure he handles the podcasting. So then they call Jonesburg, and Jonesburg's like, nope, I'm only about book signing, so you gotta call Richmond.
Jonesburg is radio. Podcasting is below radio.
Yeah.
I have to get you in contact with our podcasting guy, but they're only in the office on so and so days.
Or they don't, like, he's never been asked to be on a podcast, so she goes through all these different publicists, and then at the end it's like, well, okay, so it's not radio, maybe it's an interview, and it goes to the interview guy's like, well, it's not really an interview because it's mostly TV stuff. It's like, maybe we'll try this thing where it's documentary, and then they go to the documentary person. It's like, well, it's not really a documentary. I guess it's a podcast, and we don't really have a podcasting department. You need to talk to, and she reverts back to the first person who's about radio, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's like a loop.
Red said Fortress of Latitude. He commutes daily from a tropical secret lair on the equator, which I really like.
Yep, I'm into that.
She tries to show up at like his publicly listed housing address, which is in Chicago, and doorman turns her away. And this is effectively just Daphne outlining all the steps she's taken to try and just get a word with anybody who knows this guy. And
wait, okay, is Superion strictly Wichita based? Because I had this idea that if there was like say like Superman is from Smallville, right? And if eventually they find out that he's Superman, whatever, from Smallville, then they open like a gift shop that is themed for that because it is the hometown. So maybe there's like a Superion outlet in Wichita.
So there's a small town about an hour north of Wichita called Newton, which we can make Smallville. So it's like, Superion was born in Newton, Kansas.
Yeah, so maybe she goes and talks to Superion's parents.
She tries to, but now they're public figures.
Right, and they're also working at the convenience store / themed restaurant.
Yeah.
Superion sliders. Best in the belt.
It's like the Wahlburgers or the Roethlisberger. Yeah. Superion sliders.
Yeah.
She keeps getting the runaround and promises to figure out how to contact Superion directly. Yeah.
And then I guess she will get a lead, right, at the end?
Yeah.
Is the lead like the attorney?
Well, the next step was that she was going to speak to Red Emperor's attorney.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Like if maybe that's the lead somehow, where it's like, hey, look, the only person that I know for sure can contact Superion is this attorney, and they just give the name. And then maybe at the end of that episode, she's like, well, that's interesting. And then in episode 4, it's like, and the reason it's interesting is because this is actually Red Emperor's attorney with the same name. So do you think there's something in that?
Potentially. I wonder if that might be too
Well, it's not Superion's attorney. It's just like there's this attorney who maybe testified. I don't know. I was trying to link all the episodes together, but I don't know if that actually works.
Well, no. Well, this is only episode 1. These are all the segments I had numbered. That's my bad.
Oh, segments. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Which is just because I didn't distinguish these visually at all. But
No,
I like the idea that she gets the lead, which points to Red Emperor's attorney, but she could also just be like, I'm not getting anywhere, so I'm going to keep trying this and go to the other person who knows the most about it, see if I can't talk to Red Emperor through his attorney.
Yeah.
And she's
Now, do you think that is Red Emperor alive?
I think he got taken alive.
Now, what do you think about the idea that like he got acquitted from charges because he like did a plea bargain and is like paying back something, so he's on like house arrest or something? Because I like him being around also.
Yeah.
And I also like him kind of getting away with a bunch of stuff and it just kind of going down to money.
So what if Red Emperor pled himself down to a lesser charge and he's being used by the government to keep the San Andreas fault from slipping because he's got tectonic powers. So now they and California in real life has a habit of using prison labor for super cheap. So he gets put into the California prison system as a way to prevent the massive earthquake from destroying the West Coast. And we have that question of like...
Hold on 1 second.
Okay. And then for those of you at home,
continue.
We have the question about the wisdom of using a supervillain to prevent the end of Western society. Because, it's fun to poke holes in the stuff that people in the story bring up because it helps you... Oh, okay, cool. Zach, you character. You can't see what he put in secret in the private chat, but I assure you it's very funny. And if you pledge on our Patreon, you get access to our private chat logs. I don't know. I'll talk to him about that. We'll see if that's actually a thing. Is being used as convict labor in California to keep the San Andreas fault from destroying.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. I said that if they pledge $10 or more on our Patreon, they get access to our private chat logs.
Honestly, it's worth it.
You keep trying to make me break character, and so far I haven't.
That's true. Hey, you're such a jerk in real life.
So anyway.
you're so friendly on here.
Oh man. Anyway, so no, I think if we run with I like the idea that Red Emperor gets directly interviewed, and he's just like, "Yeah, this is why I did what I did."
It's like, look,
my did what he did.
Yeah, my testimony is on file. Blah blah blah, and she's like, "Can you explain this recording?" And she plays recording, and it's like, "Yeah, I was paying off the cops, like that. I needed them to get out of town." And she's like, "No, explain this part." And it's like, and whatever sound or whatever we figure out links to that, and he clams up,
or he's just like. Tell me, who else are you interviewing yet? And she goes, well, I'm trying to get everybody involved in the attack. I'm trying to get citizens, the Wichita superheroes, members of so-and-so. And he goes, I'm trying to get Superion, right? And she goes, well, yeah, but he won't speak to me. And he goes, I wonder why. Like, he makes a cryptic reference that, like, eggs her on.
Yeah, and maybe he gives her information on how to contact him closer or something.
Yeah, some way where it's like, well, how do you think I got Superion's attention? She goes, well, you took over Wichita. And he goes, yeah. I mean, not everybody is like.
And maybe he says something like, some say he was here before the attack.
Yeah.
Red Flanagan says, can confirm that Dylan is a monster. All the pictures of cute animals on his Instagram are. Oh, boo.
Hey.
That's the same animal.
It's the same animal. Rogue's right here. She's outside my door. She's meowing because I won't let her in.
Yeah, those are all clones. True, they are victims, but they are all clone
If
cats,
I could clone my roommate's cat and have a copy, I would absolutely do that. She's adorable.
Oh, okay. I was hoping you were going to say you would absolutely murder that thing.
No.
Good. No, I know. I like Rogue. Anyway, okay.
I'm not interested in animal harm being a part of my persona, but thank you.
Nope.
And he goes, "Who else are you talking to? Have you had any luck chatting with Superion yet?" And gives her and eggs her on to continue investigating him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that.
What information would he give her that could maybe help her out to Superion, though? Or does he just tell her that noise that she hears is Superion, and that's it?
I think he implies that. I don't think he's going to be out and out like that's Superion's eye gem. I think he's just like, this was, I don't know how you got this audio log, but this was recorded just before the city went down.
Yeah.
And what do you think that noise is? ... Anyway, I got to get back to the fault.
Cool. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that him saving the world is why he got a pardon from what he's doing.
He's like, any day now that fault's going to slip and that entire coast is going to go underwater unless I get charged from, forcible annexation of a United States territory to grand larceny. Mega grand larceny.
Yeah, he has the equivalent of diplomatic immunity.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Next is what Daphne is setting out to prove, which is we have written down Superion's not a force for good. At best, he's apathetic. At worst, he's a corporate stooge.
Now, this would be her mission statement, right? This is her reasoning for why this podcast exists.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And she pledges to continue to try and figure stuff out.
I like that.
Yeah, and that's the end of episode 1.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, do you want to hop into the next one a little bit, or
we got a little bit of time?
Yeah, we got a little bit.
So, episode 2, we are building up to everything kind of going down, which I figured would be kind of just like baseline interviews with people who live in Wichita, like the superheroes who are there. It's like, why do you think this happened here? What kind of crime was it? And they're like, I didn't think anything super criminal was happening. None of us expected this to happen. It was a nice day. And we get like Heavy Step talking about what he does to solve crime. Dean Powers talking about his time with the Bureau of Powered Individuals. Why Red Emperor chose Wichita.
Wait, okay, so what if maybe in that meeting that she has recorded, it's only half of the meeting because maybe the power-up or something is Superion finding the recording device or something? Because what I was thinking was at the second part of that meeting, maybe Red Emperor is getting Superion to mess up the tectonic plates so that he would have his pardon because he would be the only one that could like stop that. What do you think about that? Because I'm trying to think of like what would be the reason for Superion to leave Wichita during this event other than money? And is it just money?
Originally, we had talked about it being some sort of tied up conflict of interest because they're both funded by the same mega corporation. I do kind of like the idea of some sort of like quid pro quo.
Yeah. Like maybe the organization that they both kind of are funded by is almost saying like, okay, look, we can only really back one of you guys.
Yeah.
and then Superion's like, you don't want to go against me. And then Red Emperor's like, well, I mean, I don't know if that works at all.
Give me 3 weeks before you come and end it. And then Superion's like, why? And then we don't know why yet. We don't know. Yeah. For some reason, Red Emperor needs 3 weeks in Wichita, which is going to be the name of my romantic comedy script.
3 weeks in Wichita.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah, what an inexpensive but great motel.
Comfort Inn and Suites. It's a 4-star.
Yep, there is a heart-shaped jacuzzi, but it is out of order, but it is the thought that counts.
Yep. They have a space heater you can put in there, but you don't want to get in there at the same time with the space heater. Just use it to heat it up.
It's just a warm tub. Wait, so how do we link episode? How does episode 2 start where episode 1 ends? Like, what's the linkage of those?
Well, considering it's kind of like Serial, it doesn't have to be a direct tie-in. Other just like Daphne shows up. She's like, "My name is Daphne Driver, so and so and so. On this podcast, I'm hoping to tell you, etc., etc." Last episode, we discussed the major players involved. This episode, we're going to get into the build-up to the conspiracy, to the catastrophe.
Now, I need to tell you, I've never listened to Serial, so I cannot.
It's been a long time. I listened to Serial back when it was big in like 2016.
Yeah, that's a weird brag, but okay.
Yeah, I was there at the start.
You're like, dude, I was podcasting before podcasts were.
Yeah, right. No, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's been proven, not proven, but it's been semi debunked at least in the last few years.
Oh.
In the same way that Making a Murderer was. I might be talking out of my ass.
Oh, well, Making a Murderer definitely is.
It got the Making a Murderer treatment where it's like a high profile podcast or at least documentary came out and everybody who was actually involved with it was like, hold up, not everything was made available to the public. XYZ, come on. And then it had the failed follow-up where it's like, what other cases can I look at? Like, you can't go back to the same thing. But yeah, so
well, I think that's a good place to stop right now.
Yeah.
And then we'll hop into the beginning of episode 2 next Tuesday, which we're going to be back at this every single week again until Dylan gets tired of me or needs a break. And then I'll try to run a show by myself, which
Zach, I just had like a 3-week detox from you.
That's
come
true.
On, get back in here. I missed you.
You ready to hop back in there? All right, great. Anyway, thank you very much for liking, or please like this, but also thank you very much just for listening, really, and hanging out, activating our senses and making sure that what the idea we come up with is a cool one. So thank you so much. Please like and subscribe if you want to continue seeing what we're doing and how this works out. You can also see some more stuff on patreon.com/Some Nobodies if you want to help us create more and more stuff. I'm not sure if you guys know this or not, but we just put out a podcast called Create Your Own Podventure, which Dylan wrote 18 episodes, crafted in your style adventure. So you listen to episode 1, and then you choose where you want to go after that, which is cool. But that was all with the help of some people that helped us out on Patreon, such as Scott Curtis with Behind the Bits. Awesome podcast. If you're into comedians, but not their jokes, like their stories. Scott Curtis with Behind the Bits. Awesome dude. Award-winning podcaster. Tanya Sheck and Sarah Tkachuk, our East Coast friends. Thank you guys very much. We appreciate it. Listener app. If you do like podcasts, if you're listening to this, you can check out Podcast app. Go to Instagram at The Greatest Podcast app. What they do there is they actually transcribe the words so you can read them instead of listening. Dylan's voice is chalkboard scratchy at best. So why listen to that garbage when you can read his words, which is way more beautiful.
The way I speak has been compared to Shia LaBeouf.
That is not true, and I'll confirm that off camera.
Oh, all right.
Wait, you speak like Shia LaBeouf?
I mumble a lot.
Oh, wait, I thought I was the mumbler.
No.
Huh. Somebody told me that I sound like Shia LaBeouf because I mumble a lot, and I think that that's the same person. Anyway, thank you guys very much for hanging out. Check out somenobodies.com for all of our weird stuff. You can see everything that we do there. If you do want to know what we're doing, though, Mondays and Fridays, we're on The Real Boys, where on Mondays we talk about our favorite movies. On Fridays, we talk about new releases or The Real Wheel, which is a garbage collection of movies that our friends and fans asked us to review. And this week, which is this Friday, we're doing Airheads, that awesome Brendan Fraser, Steve Buscemi, Adam Sandler, Michael McKean, Michael Richardson, a lot of really weird people in that movie. If you haven't seen it, Chris Farley, a classic from the 90s. But yes, so that's on Fridays. Now on Wednesdays, we have a new show called No Time to Binge. And what we do is we find somebody that likes a show a lot, and usually it's B. And
we're doing a lot of anime, which I'm fine with. I like everything I've kind of watched.
Yeah, it works perfectly. And what we're doing there is we just watch the first episode of the series and the very last episode of the series and just try to figure out what happens in the middle. Because who has time to binge 6, 7, 8 seasons, possibly just 4 episodes? Who cares? We don't have time for that. But either way, folks, I've been Zach. He's been Dylan. You've been great. Check us out. We love you all, and I'm glad I'm back. Thank you very much. And Dylan, you could say what you gotta say because you like that.
Man, it's good to have Zach back.
No, the other thing.
Take it easy out there, everybody. Be well.
Nice.
Things are opening up. Make sure you stretch your legs, but be good about it. Cool.
Drink some water. Stretch your legs.
Drink some water. Be well.
Yep.
Next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.